keep up to speed on that. And also want to keep you up to speed on what's happening in the world of wrestling. Time for the Grappler Report. Tony Hager joining us in studio right now. We are getting ever so close. The big tournament just weeks away.
Yeah, it's this weekend is sectionals for 1A and 2A. Then districts come into play for all three classes in the state tournament. So days like today, when you don't have a lot of school closings, you don't have practice, it's kind of tough on these kids because they're working their weight in, trying to make it in slowly instead of just trying to make a big cut. So snow days aren't the best for wrestlers.
You might think otherwise, yeah.
Some of the wrestlers that don't compete on the varsity level probably want to stay at home, but those guys that are looking for a gold on Saturday night, they want to go to practice. So this past weekend, we had one of the toughest tournaments in the state, right here in the metro at Southeast Polk, in Windsor Heights, not Windsor Heights, but Altoona. Southeast Polk really the week before at the Ed Winger, they came in second to Valley by 1 point. And this week in this tournament, Southeast Polk really blew out the doors there. They won 233 to 196. That was the points difference. So they kind of just let people know that they're here for that tournament title too. So
why are you saying this is one of the toughest?
It has the most ranked wrestlers in the state for 3A wrestling. It is just consecutively year in, year out. It just you have every single weight class. I believe we had 2 ranked wrestlers going up for the title. So you just don't see that. There's 21 different conferences in the state, and we have all those results on iawrestle.com. So you can go on there and check out what kids finished, but it's really it's something special. We have a lot of the videos up on our website, our YouTube page. But moving on, we'll go through these real quick because these kids need to be recognized. At 106 pounds, Cade DeVoe from Waukee defeated Drew Bennett in the final 3-2. These two are ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state. So this is going to be a battle that we will see here in a couple weeks. I'm hoping at the state wrestling tournament. So Cade is a freshman, Drew is a sophomore. Both of these guys are going to be somebody in the college scene they're going to be wanting to look for. So 106 is a really tough weight class, especially here in the CIML. I think we had 5 ranked kids at this bracket.
Wow.
So that was a tough bracket. At 113, we have the number 1 ranked wrestler, Brody Teskey, in the state against the number 2, Cal Biscaglia, in the finals. Teskey is pound for pound one of the top wrestlers in the state. He was a state champ last year at 106 as a freshman. So he defeated Kyle Biscaglia 13-9, kind of controlled the match, but Biscaglia was able to push him and test him. Here at 120, we've got a match between Adam Brown and Zach Price. Zach Price beat Adam Brown earlier in the year, but Brown was able to lock up a cradle here this past weekend and get enough points to get him through for a 4-3 decision here at 120. At 126, Tristan Lara from Fort Dodge picked up a huge fall over Nathan Lent from Southeast Polk, another matchup between number 1 and number 2 in the state. So that was big for Fort Dodge and Tristan Lara from to get that team some extra points that they really needed. At 132, Grant Stotts from Valley had a decision over Ethan Chazak from Johnson, 6-0. Really controlled the match every single time these guys have wrestled. It's been a battle, but Stotts has always come out on top. So it'll be interesting to see if Chazak can close that gap if they get to wrestle each other here at the state tournament. 138, Zach Barnes continues to impress. He beat the number 1 ranked wrestler last weekend, or 2 weekends ago at Ed Winger, and then he beats another ranked wrestler here, Jace Williams from Ankeny Centennial, by major decision, over 8 points, 20-6. So that's a big win for Zach Barnes. They now, I think Southeast Polk has another title contender under their belt, so that's going to propel them even higher into the standings come Saturday. 145, Michael Zachary, returning state champ. He's 31-0 on the season.
Wow.
He major decision the number 2 ranked wrestler, Joel Shapiro from Valley, 15-7. This is this was really just a dominating match by Zachary. He continues to push the bar. That's why a lot of people like watching him wrestle, because he's always trying to score points. So Michael Zachary will definitely be a guy that you want to watch at the state wrestling tournament, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
If his cameraman was any closer, he'd be in the match. That's cool.
152, we've got Max Spots from Mason City over Alec Helmkamp from Ankeny Centennial. This one went down to the closing seconds, 7-6 victory for him, and got Mason City a CIML champ, but they really needed. At 160, we have Jack Kofi from Valley. He went over Jacob Carlson from Mason City, 2-1. This went in overtime. This was another a tough match for the Valley wrestler, but he got through it. And 170, Marcus Coleman from Ames, Iowa, 37-1 on the year over Josh Edel from Marshalltown by 7-4. These two have wrestled each other quite a bit this year, but Marcus is always getting the job done. So he'll remain #1 in our rankings on iawrestle.com. We actually have new rankings coming out today, so make sure you check that out. But at 182, another big match. This came down to there was 1 second left on the clock. Isaac Barrio from Mason City got them another CIML champ over Isaiah Cox from Ottumwa, 6-5, and it was it was really Isaiah that was in control of this match. First, second period, and then Isaac was just able to grit it out at the end and picked up a last minute point.
You have to wrestle for the whole clock, don't you?
Yes, you do. Well, especially when you're wrestling guys that are highly as ranked as these two, and you can't make any mistakes. So moving on to 195, #1 ranked wrestler again at the CIML tournament from Fort Dodge, 38-0. He had a major decision over Connor Corbin from Valley. And those two teams, I think you're going to see a lot of those guys on Saturday. Valley, Fort Dodge, Southeast Pokes. Sam Cook right now has control over this weight class.
So Ethan won this one from Southeast Polk.
Yeah,
cool.
220. This is the third match these guys have wrestled this year. Ethan's always won, 5-4 decision. And then at 285, Daniel Ramirez continues to impress, going from 7th ranked to possibly the top ranked wrestler in the state over Egan Lickus from Indianola. So big weekend in CIML wrestling.
And I understand we have a story that is really cool that you want to tell.
Yeah, so last Thursday at Ballard, it was Ballard versus Humboldt, and there's two sisters from Ballard, Nicole and Rachel Waters, and there's two brothers, Jaden and Jackson Campen from Humboldt, that both obviously on the team, but Nicole wasn't for sure. She's not on the varsity lineup typically, but there was a void in the lineup for her to get in there, and it set up the first match between brothers and sisters on a varsity duel, as far as I know, in the history of wrestling. So in the state, it's kind of a big deal, but on the national level, I mean, just to get that match. Now, Jaden defeated Nicole Waters in the first match, and then Rachel Waters defeated Jackson Campen. So kind of, I guess you could see a brother-sister rivalry now. There's one. It's 1-1. So we're going to have a little bit more in-depth story on iawrestle.com.
Wow.
Today, hopefully. So if you're sitting at home in the snow, we're going to have the full matches up on iWrestle, so you can check those out and just learn a little bit more about women's wrestling. I think that is what we're trying to do. Every single week, we do a recap of every single female that gets a match, whether it's JV or varsity. We've got all of their records. So Matt Waters does a really good job of keeping us up on women's wrestling.
That is great. Well, great keeping everybody else updated on what's going on. iawrestle.com for all your wrestling information that you need right here in the state of Iowa. Well done.